Welcome back to Chapter 5 of the book club for Barack Obama's new book, A Promised Land. Chapter 5 was interesting. It was the declaration that the president was going to run. At the time, all of the hype and all of the things that surrounded him, but his thought process was about staying focused. And that's what I really got from this chapter. It was how to stay focused. When President Obama decided that he was going to run for office, they obviously had to get past the Democratic primary. And the interesting thing is that they didn't go on a national tour per se. They really focused in on Iowa. And I feel like there's a great correlation there for coaches as leaders. The fact that sometimes we get so focused on having everything be really good right now, really effective right now, that we sometimes don't focus in on the one thing that we have to do in order to be successful. I know that I am guilty of it. And it's really interesting to think about how everything they did, all of the ways that they moved in a manner that got them back to this number one goal, which was to win Iowa in the primary. That's big to me, is to have that focus and to have people in place that are not yes men, but are going to help you to keep that focus is really important, because sometimes we believe we can conquer everything at one time. It's the thing that makes leaders is their ability to believe that they can overcome any obstacle or solve any problem. And sometimes you need someone else to come and say, hey, don't try to save the world, save this one thing first. Or don't try to do everything at once, do this one thing. I know I deal with it all the time internally about what I would love to do on a grander scale and what I'm able to do. And I know in my heart that what I need to do has to start with this one thing and then be able to build out of it. So it was interesting reading about how that came and what was important to the president in that respect. I also think that it's clear to me that Iowa holds a special place in his heart. The way that he spoke about that time and the amount of effort that the people that were on his team put in to making this all possible. You have to remember, and he speaks to it in the book, that he was up against some really impossible odds. He was going up against Hillary Clinton, who was a monster at the time. Not a monster in a bad way, meaning that she had a lot of heat. She had a lot of gravitas with her. She was seasoned. She understood the game. Edwards understood the game. And he speaks to the fact that he wasn't, when they first started it, wasn't very good. He wasn't at the level that they were. And that he even questioned, was I doing the right thing at one point? Not because of his ability, but because of how good they were at their jobs and at doing this thing of running for president. Was it that they could do a better job than he was? He talks about the fact that he just felt that he was going to be able to make things look differently than they made things look. That the change that he thought about in his mind and the change that he wanted to see in his heart couldn't come from them because they weren't going to be able to effectively show it the way that he has. It's this undying nature, is this tunnel vision that many leaders have to have in order to be successful in today's society. They have to have it in the workforce when it comes to running a Fortune 500 company. You have to have it in running an organization. You have to have it in running a team. You have to have it in being a coach. You have to have it in being a position coach. This tunnel vision of this is what I see. This is what I know I need to do in order to be successful. That's what we're going to do. And so for me, looking back at chapter 5 and really understanding that they had a goal. They kept they kept the main thing. If you ever heard that term before, keep the main thing. They kept the main thing. They were not swayed by people who were saying, oh, well, you need to focus on these other things. They weren't even swayed by polls that had him as almost an afterthought everywhere but Iowa. They focused in on Iowa. And they accomplished their goal. They won Iowa. And lo and behold, once they won Iowa, it was like an explosion. And then all of a sudden, the nation took hold of it. And he was able to then take that message on into the next steps. And so chapter 5 was very interesting. And I really wanted to focus on the ability to have that focus and keep the main thing, not to lose sight of that one thing that one engine that's going to make everything else run. That was really good, and it was really exciting to not only read it. What did you like? If you've been reading the book, tell me in the comments some things that you noticed about chapter 5 that might be interesting. And if you're not reading the book, you know what? Go out and read the book. This isn't an advertisement for the book. I'm literally just doing this because I love to see how leaders lead, or at least the thought process behind leaders and what made them become who they are. And I'm happy to be sharing that with you. If you like this, please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel and all the things that we do. Until next time, I'm Gene Clemens.